I'm gonna read this entire book. And then I read 8 pages. Hey everyone, it's been a very long time since I filmed a regular reading vlog, so it's time for just an old school reading vlog. It is Monday morning right now. I am going to go to The Hague in a bit to work in the Swan Market store where I sell my products. It's a really fun concept store where I sell my bookmarks and tote bags and everything. So I always go there on the train and I'll be reading the book that I'm currently reading, which is Boy Parts, written by Eliza Clark. This book was picked by my patrons over on my Patreon community to read next, and I'm super excited to finally read this because it's been on my shelf for quite some time now, and this is one of these like unhinged female character books that are very popular right now. It follows a girl named Irina, and she obsessively takes explicit photographs of the average looking men she persuades to model for her, scouted from the streets of Newcastle. Later on, something triggers a self-destructive tailspin centered around Irina's relationship with her obsessive best friend and a shy young man from her local supermarket who has attracted her attention. Very curious how this is going to turn out. I have only just started it like yesterday. Yes, I'm using a postcard as a bookmark right now. This is from the Dutch Photo Museum here in Rotterdam, and I just love this photo. So this is my bookmark for now. Let me know in the comments if you have read this book. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. Yeah, I hope you're going to enjoy this reading vlog. I'm like excited to be filming a reading vlog again, and I'm just going to take you along with me in my day and my week. It is Wednesday today. I did some work. I also voted for the regional elections that are happening today. And if you're from the Netherlands, I hope you voted too. I thought I would give you a little update on Boy Parts because I'm about 60 pages in, not very far, but I'm enjoying it so much. I'm very intrigued by this main character. I'm very interested in getting to know her and getting to, find out about the reasons of her wanting to take these explicit photographs. So tonight, in like half an hour, just over half an hour, I'm hosting some reading sprints over on my Patreon page so we can get some more reading done. I'm very excited to just read some more from this book because this is the only book I'm currently reading, which is a surprise. Normally I'm reading like 5 or 6 books at the same time, and now I'm just reading this one, which is an accomplishment. So, I'm focusing on one book. Happy Friday! I've got some reading updates because during my Patreon reading sprints I read so much more. I'm currently on page 111, still enjoying it very much. It's very interesting getting to know these characters and the things that they're doing and all the parties she's going to and like the photographs, so still very much enjoying this one. But then I went to bed and I was suddenly like, oh my god, I want to reread one of my favorite books from last year, namely The Outsiders, which is a really, really tiny book that was my favorite one of last year. It was the first book I read last year and to that day remained my favorite one. I thought I still have like 2 hours before I go to sleep. I'm gonna read this entire book, and then I read 8 pages and then I got distracted. So if you don't know what The Outsiders is about, The Outsiders is a book about 2 kind of rival gangs, and I believe it takes place in the 80s. You have the Greasers and then the rich kid Socks, and our main character Ponyboy is part of the Greasers gang. And basically the premise of the story is how, these gangs are rivals. They feel like they're so different from one another. They always want to fight, but then once people who may seem different, like from you, once you get to know them, you will find out that we're all very the same. And that's what I loved about this book. It's a really beautiful coming of age story, and when I first read it, I read it in a couple of days and instantly gave it 5 stars. It was so good, and like much more is happening in this book besides what I just told you, but I highly recommend this one. It is so good. Yesterday I went to the cinema. I saw After Sun, and I am still thinking about this film. It was really beautiful, but I also felt so much tension. It's basically between a father and a daughter going on a lovely, like, all-inclusive holiday to Turkey, just spend some quality time together, and the daughter's like 11, and it's very much between the relationship between daughter and father and the conversations they're having. However, the father has so many more like struggles that he's dealing with, and it was just incredibly like beautiful with all the communication between them. Very sad and tragic as well, and just like I'm still thinking about this film. Like when I walked out of the theater, it's weird going back into like normal life again within a few seconds, because many people in the cinema remained seated to just like process what was happening and how they interpreted the film, you know? Yeah, it was very good. Let me know in the comments if you've watched this film as well, because I'm trying to watch some more Oscar films and like nominations, even though the Oscars have already happened, but still, I still want to watch The Whale with Brendan Fraser, and I've already seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, I believe. It made me so happy when he won Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. It made me cry. But it's Friday. I just watched an episode of Daisy Jones and the Six. 2 more episodes to go before the series ending. What? I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm still like, it feels a bit too kind of clean for the whole 70s vibe, but I'm still enjoying it a lot, and I'm loving the album. It's a really, really cool album, but I don't have time to watch it now because I'm going to be meeting up with Michelle from Books Michelle to do some book shopping, although I don't think I'll be buying any books, but just browse through the bookstore here in Rotterdam and have a lovely coffee. And then after that, I'm going home to my parents' house together with my family from England because they're visiting, so I'll be meeting them in Rotterdam, and then together we'll travel to where my parents live to just have a lovely evening with my family, and my grandma's coming as well, so very excited for that. It's going to be a very lovely Friday, and I don't think I'll be taking any books with me to read on the metro because I'll be with my family anyways the entire afternoon, so I don't think I'll be able to read anything. But yeah, I'm gonna meet up with Michelle in a bit, so I'll try to vlog a few clips here and there. Happy Monday morning. So today I am going to work in the Swan Market store in Leiden. So I'll try to film a few bits because I forgot to film anything last Monday when I went to The Hague. But little reading update. I haven't really read that much more from Boy Parts, to be honest. I am still on page 111. So I didn't read anything more after my Patreon sprints, but that's okay. Then, as you saw on Friday, I had so much fun at Donner with Michelle. We didn't buy any books, but we just had a lovely time like catching up. But then a few days later, I went to Donner again, and I did get something, namely these 2 books. The first one is Letters to a Young Poet by Rilke. I've already got this one, but I saw this cute little black classic edition in the secondhand section, and I thought, I love this book, so I wanted to get this cute one. I actually saw this one whilst I was at Michelle, or like with Michelle at Donner, and I thought, I do not need this book. However, if it's still there, like 2 days later when I went to Donner again, it's a sign. So I got it, and it was still there. So this one, and then also this one, look at this beautiful cover. I had never heard of this book before, but I was very intrigued. It looked gorgeous. These penguin editions are absolutely stunning. I've got a few, so this is a perfect addition to my collection. It is called Elizabeth and Her German Garden, and it's basically like a semi-autobiographical novel where Elizabeth discovers that the path to joy lies in having a garden of one's own. And then this novel records each season over a year. She makes a wilderness her kingdom of heaven. I'm very intrigued by this one. Let me know in the comments if you've read this one, because I'd never heard of it before, but I mean, look at the cover. It kind of looks like sunflowers. And then lastly, I did get something else in, not in the Donner, in the bookshop, but somewhere else. I wanted to get a little journal because I am just like, I love the idea of journaling. And a few months ago, let me grab it, I bought this journal, which is really, really big, and I wanted to kind of create this habit of journaling more often, but because this journal is so big and the pages are so big, it constantly feels like I need to fill up an entire page, and that intimidated me, and I don't like it when it was just like a few sentences, because it just feels like it's hardly anything. And yes, I know that's not really the right way to go about with journaling, just like write down, even if it's just a sentence or two. But because it felt like I was pressuring myself to constantly write the entire page, even though I didn't really know what to write about, I thought if I just get myself a tiny journal and try to journal once a day or once every 2 days and just fill up one page in this small journal, it feels like a lot more, you know what I mean? So I bought this really, really stunning one from Paper Blanks. Look at this cover. I love this magnetic flap cover thing, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. So what I plan on doing is just write a little bit about my day every day, and maybe something that made me happy, but really like focus on the positive things in my day. So this is my new little project for like from now on, basically. I'm very excited. I hope this will kind of get me back into journaling. Okay, I'm going over to Leiden in a bit. I'm going to be taking this book with me because I have to be on the train for like half an hour there and half an hour back. So I hope to be able to read a lot. It's Friday. I'm going to end this vlog here, but not before I give you a few final updates on my reading, as well as on Daisy Jones and the Six, because I just finished watching the entire show and I have to say I enjoyed it so much. First of all, at the beginning, when Patti Smith, one of her songs was used as the main, like a theme song, I was already like, oh my goodness. And then there were so many songs in there that I never really hear in other TV shows or like anywhere else. For example, Satellite of Love by the Velvet Underground, which is one of my favorite songs. I'd never heard it anywhere before. And then in the end, they used the Rolling Stones to end the entire show. Like, yes, please. So I was very excited about all the music. Of course, the story itself, we knew it. I don't really remember that well how accurate the whole adaptation was, because it's been quite a long time since I last read the book. But of course, the main theme and the main plot was the same. The only thing that I was a bit, it's like, I could have done that a bit better was just, I don't know, I felt like the outfits and like the wigs and just the accessories sometimes didn't really match what I saw in my head. And I wished it had a bit more of like an Almost Famous type of, you know, vibe when it comes to the outfits and stuff. And yes, it was still very 70s, but it sometimes just felt, as I said, a little bit too clean. But all in all, I enjoyed it a lot, and I think I'm gonna give it like an 8 out of 10. I mean, it's one of my favorite books. It's just, I love the 70s, I love rock and roll music, and it made me so happy seeing these characters come to life, and I thought it was just wonderful. So it was very lovely following it every single week. And I like that they didn't release everything in one go, so we had like 4 weeks to watch everything, which is nice. So it didn't end all in one go and I didn't have to like binge it, because otherwise I would have binged it. But talking about books, I finished Boy Parts yesterday, and I think I finished it on my phone, hence why my bookmark is still there. I am going to give this 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is a debut novel, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I saw this one review on Goodreads which just completely explain the way I feel about this book. Like, it's incredibly disturbing at times, but you're so interested in continuing like with the story because you want to know what's going to happen. And then the main character is not okay, but you're still so intrigued by why she is the way that she is. And there are some parts where just like it's kind of a blur between reality and like kind of visions, and just like, I don't know, it was so good. It really is one of those books that you can't really stop reading. Yes, it took me like a week and a half to read it, but still, this was really good, and I'm very excited for her next book. If you want to read this book, please do read some trigger warnings, because it is quite graphic. It's really graphic and quite disturbing at times, so definitely keep that in mind. But this is unhinged female character to the max. It was really good. I really liked it. And then I started this one that I told you about, Elizabeth and Her German Garden. I think like 20% of the way through already, maybe even 30, because it's a really short book. And after like reading 10 pages, I already saw myself living in this small cottage, or a little bit bigger than a cottage, and then having a big garden and like growing your own flowers and vegetables and finding a lot of peace and calm and quiet. So I'm enjoying this one a lot. This is very different from Boy Part. Like this is this is Boy Parts. This is my bookmark. This is very different from Boy Parts. It's written like a diary about how she's living in her garden and, you know, the calm that she's finding there. And I'm enjoying it a lot. So I had to use my sunflower bookmark from the Van Gogh Museum, which is really fun. And I will keep you updated on this book in my next video. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this reading vlog. It's, as I said, been a long time since I last done a reading vlog, so I hope you liked it. And if you want to comment something, but you don't know what to comment, comment a sunflower emoji. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I'll see you in my next video.